Hi guys, so let's go through today's trade recap. It'll probably be a pretty short video, but the main point of this video will just be to follow your plan and not your brain. Like, use your brain to follow your plan, but don't follow sort of like your impulses or sort of your intuition, I guess. Like, don't follow your like predictions or what you think the market is going to do. Follow your plan and follow what has been tested. If you think the market is going to go off it, don't just trade off that. So we'll just go through that to explain a bit further. But just starting on the daily, we have this sell side liquidity here that I'm aiming for, because actually let's start on the weekly to sort of explain it. So as you guys can see on the weekly, if we take off everything, remember this is the sell side liquidity that I'm looking at. So if we hide all drawings, we can see we have a weekly fair value gap right here, and we actually respected it with this weekly candle. So at first during this time I was thinking we'll probably take out this high, right? So well, I mean, that was my first draw on liquidity. So respecting this, the next draw on liquidity is this one, so we already took that out. But I thought we would go all the way up here, but obviously like you wouldn't just trade and just aim all the way up there. But that's why I initially thought the long-term trend would be. But with this candle, you can see that's not the case. We entered this fair value gap again, so that sort of invalidates this fair value gap. Like, it makes it so that it's like you internal range liquidity here, external range, and that's it. It's done. It's now coming down. So this is now my next draw on liquidity, or this one actually is my next draw on liquidity, just to go down because it already disrespected that one. So now going on the daily, we can see again it's pretty bearish. We broke past this low and we closed below it as well, so it's not just like a liquidity sweep, we're just pretty much going bearish now. We have this daily fair value gap right here created. So initially today I thought we would enter this daily fair value gap before going down, but I guess not. I think we'll take out this sell side before CPI maybe, and then maybe like during CPI we'll go all the way up here. So update, I guess, from 12th of June, 2 days later, or 1 day later, I guess. Yep, so we took out that sell side and straight away we started reversing. This is CPI right there. So I had a long today and I got out before CPI. So I had a short yesterday going to that sell side, and then long today after we taken out that sell side. But anyway, so I was thinking we probably would retrace sometime today because we've got a daily fair value gap there, and we also have a 4-hour fair value gap right here that I marked out. So today, like, there's literally a 4-hour fair value gap up here. So I was thinking, like, why would it just keep going down, right? So that's what I thought. But if you look at price, it's all showing still bearish signs. So when we went up, we created this higher time frame SMT right here. From here, 9th of June at 8, it goes down. But from here, 9th of June at 8, it goes up. So we've got this SMT right here as this is going up and this is going down. So that's a bearish sign, obviously. And then we also have this 1 hour fair value gap right here that I didn't even bother marking out because I didn't think that it would be very, like, I didn't think that it would be that powerful, but I guess it worked. So that was the 1 hour fair value gap. And we also have a 4-hour fair value gap up here. So I was like, wouldn't it make more sense to go up to this 4-hour fair value gap before coming down, or even to that daily? You have to sort of react to what price is doing instead of just predicting and thinking about your bias. You know, you can't impose your bias onto the market. You have to just look at what price is giving you. It tapped into that daily 1 hour fair value gap, and we also swept Asian session highs. So this is Asian session right here. So we swept Asian session highs already, and we tapped into that 1 hour fair value gap, and it's during London. So it's a prime time for it to go down. As you guys can see here as well, there's a lot of liquidity down here. There's liquidity here, 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 here. So there's a lot of liquidity for it to go down. There's a 1 hour fair value gap here as well, a 1 hour bullish fair value gap. So that was my target. We tapped into the 1 hour fair value gap and we started going down straight away, and we created a 5-minute market structure shift here. And we also almost took out, or we basically took out Asian session lows, but I still went for a short because that was the bias. So we took out Asian session lows, but look at Asian session, it's so small, right? There's still a lot of liquidity and a lot of room to go down, especially since we already got that market structure shift. Like, this is not just a liquidity sweep here, it's a full market structure shift. So I took out the equilibrium box we went into equilibrium, we got a 5-minute fair value gap. So I entered here, stops just above this fair value gap right here, and target that 1 hour fair value gap. So as you guys can see, that was a win. It was like a 1 to 3, but during the trade I also really wanted to close it, just because like if you look at the trade, it was during London session, right? So if you look at the green part, it was like this. But if you look at GU, during London session, it was just completely not correlating at all. When it went up, GU was going down. When GU was going up, EU was going down. So that made me sort of a bit more uncertain, because the whole time that it was going down, GU was just slowly going up. And GU and EU are supposed to correlate, right? Yeah. So basically, I was just pretty like uncertain. Not uncertain, but just it kind of messed me up psychology wise, like during this whole part, and suddenly it just started going down. But during this part, I actually was really close to closing it and just going out for a walk, but I ended up holding through just because I thought it would be better to hold on and to just build good habits than to just go off based off of thoughts. Because if I was to just close it, the only reason would just be because I think it would reverse, just because it wasn't correlating with GU. But it doesn't have to correlate with GU, it's just it usually does. But that's why it's important to sort of stick to your plan, because it was exactly according to my plan. So we got higher time frame fair value gap, we got even a higher time frame SMT, we got a draw on liquidity right here, we got a clear bias going down. I understand that we might think that it's going up, but there's actually no sign at all that we're going up, because we haven't even closed above this higher yet, and we haven't even made like proper like big fair value gaps. Like we do have one bullish fair value gap, but we haven't retraced into the bullish fair value gap, and this bullish fair value gap as well is not very strong, as you guys can see. We didn't even end up closing above this high, so there wasn't a lot of strong bias for bullish, even though we are overall very low in the week, I guess. Like we're very down, but it doesn't mean that it's bullish, right? Like if you just look at this chart and you just show anyone if they would buy or sell, I think a lot of people would say they would want to buy. Actually, I don't really know, but instead of basing it off your thoughts, like if you just look at this, you're probably more inclined to buy than to sell. So that's why the main idea of this video is just to follow your plan. In the past, something that would have messed me up is just this 4-hour fair value gap above and this one daily fair value gap. So I think in the past, what I would have done is probably just when it sweeps that Asian session low, and also because it swept Asian session low already before I entered that trade. So in the past, what I would have done is I probably would have entered for a buy here, to be honest. This exact same place that I entered for a sell, I could have entered for a buy as well, because we got a bullish fair value gap. So what I could have done is gaslight myself into thinking that we have this daily, we have this bullish fair value gap created. We have this 4-hour fair value gap up here. We have a daily fair value gap up there. We have swept Asian session low, and we have a 5-minute fair value gap, right? So that's like all 4 confluence pretty much. Like we have a draw on liquidity up there. We don't have higher time frame. That's the thing, we don't have higher time frame. We have higher time frame created, but we didn't actually tap into this higher time frame. So past me would have just ignored that and just continued buying anyways. But now I know, like, it's important to look at what's happening. Like clearly it is respecting bearish order flow, and clearly, like, look at this, look at all this liquidity. Clearly today the bias was to sell. So that's all for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.